Maya Little is found guilty of defacing Silent Sam, and UNC police defend their officers' actions at Silent Sam protests amid criticism. Good afternoon, Tar Heels. Here's what's going on at Carolina right now. There is no denying that in April, Maya Little smeared her own blood and ink across the pedestal that Silent Sam was still standing on. Monday, an Orange County district judge found her guilty of defacing a public monument. More than 10 witnesses testified during the day-long trial, including Chapel Hill Mayor Pam Heminger and Police Chief Chris Blue. About 15 activists sat in court to support Little, some of whom have court dates of their own after the arrests and protests following Silent Sam's toppling. The prosecution showed body cam video of Little's arrest in April when a UNC police officer asked her to stop dousing ink on the pedestal. Then, a university maintenance staffer who pressure washed the marks testified he told the judge that the university spent $4,084 cleaning the marks. Little's attorney, Scott Holmes, argued by marking the pedestal, she contextualized the statue for everyone to see it the same way she does, stained with African American blood.
When a white supremacist statue is protected by law, demanding dignity is illegal. When a university spends almost $400,000 to silence and conceal dissent, showing the truth is punished.
After court, Little and her supporters gathered at the Peace and Justice Plaza in front of Chapel Hill's courthouse building to host civil rights activism from Charlotte. Among them were Micah Johnson and Glow Merriweather, who are part of Charlotte's Uprising, an organization known for its role in the 2016 protests following the shooting of Keith Lamont Scott. Both of them spoke publicly in defense of Little after the court hearing. Little will face the UNC Honor Court October 25th and 26th. We will keep you updated as we learn more. In the meantime, Little's conviction has raised a lot of questions. Peyton Tysinger spoke with media and law professor Tori Eskreen to get some answers.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ekstrand, for coming in and having a conversation with us today. So what exactly does this verdict mean for Maya Little?
Well, obviously it's good news for her, generally speaking, in the sense that she's not going to have to serve any time. There's no community service penalty, right? But she has been found guilty of a misdemeanor, so she will have that on her record. And as I understand it, and at least from news accounts, her attorney and certainly Ms. Little, I don't get the sense that they're going to be happy with that either. What they will do after this point, I think, is open to question. But you know, for her, I think for us generally, right, and for the court, it's sort of a message. Yes, she broke the law, at least as the law is written. But clearly the community and the court recognizes that the community, that she has a large community of support behind her, and that she should not have to suffer a penalty, other than the fact, obviously, that she now has a misdemeanor on her record.
So you did touch on this a bit. What exactly does it mean that she was convicted without really any penalty? What's the point in that?
I think there are a lot of instances in which judges and courts will often rule in favor of the plaintiff, in this case the state, right, because this is a criminal case. But in terms of the penalty is either light or non-existent. And that always puzzles the public. Like, how could you be guilty of something and not actually have a penalty? But it is sort of the court's way of delivering a message oftentimes. I mean, none of us can get inside of the head of the judge here. But oftentimes it's a way for a court to deliver a message, which is, look, you broke the law. This happens to be the law. My role as the judge is to be clear about whether or not you did break the law, and then also impose a penalty if the penalty is warranted. So one way to read this is that the judge thought, right, the penalty in this case is not warranted given the context and the discussion and the debate around the statute. That's one way to look at this.
All right, awesome. So that actually ties directly into our next question. What is the greater message that the judge was trying to send in delivering this verdict?
Well, I think it's a way of drawing attention to the fact that the community, right, is not in favor, at least the Chapel Hill community, by and large, the university community, the town, the businesses, and certainly Ms. Little's supporters, all feel, right, that she should not have to suffer a penalty as a result of her actions. I think it's a message, right, from a very local standpoint, right, to perhaps the larger community, which in this case would be the state, and most notably like the state legislature, perhaps the Board of Governors and the Board of Trustees for the university, many of whom feel very differently about what Ms. Little did.
So in the case when the statue has been vandalized,
UNC are defending its own actions at the Silent Sam protest earlier this fall, despite criticism from the public. According to the Daily Tar Heel, a member of Chapel Hill's Community Policing Advisory Committee, Calvin Deutschman, said, quote, "My assessment of the behavior of police on campus is I think they're going to kill students. The use of pepper spray, smoke bombs, and physical aggression are some of the actions police took," that Deutschman called criminal. The UNC police chief of police said that there were few to no injuries caused by police during the protests. We will keep you guys updated as story develops. That's what's going on at Carolina right now. Be sure to follow us on other social media, and if you see something you'd like us to cover, tag us.